Now we're going to create a question. Just like before, we'll start out at the PrairieLearn main documentation page. We'll go underneath the user guide to where we see question configuration and select that. Questions typically have between 2 to 3 files for each question. Now, a question is an item that you want a student to answer. Generally, you'll write questions that are using 3 files, an info.json, which handles the metadata for the question, a server.py, which is optional, but it allows for the question to be more difficult to solve because it introduces randomness, so no 2 student answers are the same. And finally, the question.html, which allows us to have a view of what the student is going to enter. So with that being said, let's first go back to our course. We're going to need to create a new directory by right-clicking and selecting New Folder, and we'll call that Questions. Underneath Questions, we're going to add another folder called sample-question, which is going to be the UUID for the question that we generate. Inside of the sample question folder, what we're going to need to do is add those 3 files we previously discussed. So going over to the documentation where we see question info.json, we can go ahead and copy the example and place that into our favorite text editor using Control-V or Command-V. Save it as info.json. Again, this should be underneath the question subfolder, in this case sample question, which is underneath questions. We're going to want to change the UUID again. So if we go back over to the online UUID generator, refresh the page, then press copy, go back to where we see the text editor, and paste it. Now we need to copy the question.server.py. So we'll go ahead and click on the question.server.py, highlight the code that was given, and Control-C or Command-C. Then go over to our text editor, open up a new window, paste the copied code, save it, in this case as server.py, and then we need to repeat the procedure once more, but in this case it's for the question.html. So if we go ahead and click on question.html, we can copy the example that was given and go back over to our favorite text editor, open another new window, paste it, and then save it as question.html. So inside of our sample question folder, we should have info.json, question.html, and server.py. And if we go back to the root folder, you'll notice that, again, that sample question is underneath the questions directory.